Sometimes you have to almost lose something before you really appreciate it. And I think that's where a lot of New Zealanders are now. You know, people have been warning we're going to lose our freedom, we'll lose our freedom, but it was pretty hard to take seriously when the beaches are good and, you're making a bit of money and you're living in a beautiful country like this. It's pretty hard to understand that. While people are seeing it now, they are shocked at what our government could do to our people. They've finally seen evil in their face. And so we have enough people now that we can actually make a concrete difference. So I'm not about just influencing the culture. I'm about that. I'm not just about making a noise or doing a protest. I'm about actual real change. Really winning the battle against evil. And I believe we are in a battle between good and evil right now. Does anybody think I'm a little over the top on that one? I think we definitely are. We see that now. We are in a battle between good and evil, and we've got to stand up. And see, this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because, you want to go to the parties. You want to be friends with everybody. You don't want to be hating your relatives or having them hate you. But this is the time to make a stand, folks. We're in a grievous situation, and the only thing that's going to get us out of it is truth. It's truth. Telling the darn truth, regardless of the consequences. We've tried everything else. Let's tell the truth. Unvarnished. And how do you tell the truth? Well, that takes a little courage, does it not? It takes courage to tell the truth. And I'm not trying to force any particular spiritual beliefs on anybody, but I'll say this. If you have a spiritual foundation in your life, you have some faith in your life, it's a lot easier to have courage. It's a lot easier to stand up because you can see the bigger picture. I heard a story the other day about a landing craft at D-Day, an American landing craft, and all these 18-year-old boys just terrified, about to charge the German machine guns. And the sergeant said to them, there are two kinds of people on this beach, the dead and those about to die. Let's go. And they went. How do you do that without a lot of faith and a lot of courage? How do you do that? So this is what I say to all of you. I am so gratified to see what I see here in my home country. We had a great meeting in Wellington the other night. I've got a great meeting, big meeting in Christchurch. And next day, I'm seeing people waking up and fired up like they've never been. That march that you did, and the occupation of the grounds at Parliament, that went all over the world, folks. That went everywhere. You got inspired by the Canadian truckers, well, they get inspired by you. We see the Dutch farmers. We see all these things happening because people are standing up in truth and courage and faith. Even if it's just faith in your country, faith in your fellow man. It's faith in something bigger than yourself. You're part of something. And this is what I see happening here now. And this is, we think, what we're doing is difficult because we're bucking the trends. We've got a lot of media against us. We've got a lot of people who want to laugh at us and, try and shut us down. And, a lot of people have been persecuted, etc. But what we're doing, is it as hard as what your fathers and grandfathers did when they charged German machine guns at Normandy? Is it as hard as what they did when they were trekking across North Africa facing down Rommel? Or, going up through Italy, facing the Germans and Italians? Is it as hard as charging the beaches at Gallipoli? Everybody here virtually has got uncles or grandfathers who fought for New Zealand at some stage. Or the women who stayed behind and supported them and wrote them letters and baked stuff for them and organised stuff here and grieved when they didn't come back. Everybody's got that story in their background. Do we owe it to them? Do we owe it to them to save this wonderful country, or do we not? Is that our duty? Getting to that? And most of us here would have children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or cousins. Do we want them to live in a free New Zealand, or do we not? Is it our duty? We brought them into this world. Is it our duty to do what it damn well takes to make sure that they live as free as we did, or even better? Is that our duty? People, when you're in this movement, it's hard. You're facing a lot of slings and arrows. You've got to do a lot of work. You've got to take a lot of time away from your families and your hobbies and your sports. You've got to do that. But you meet the very best friends you're ever going to make. You meet the best friends in the freedom movement that you'll ever make in your lives. Because these are discerning, smart people who are loyal and brave. These are the people you can count on. When times get tougher, you'll be glad of these networks. If times get better, you can sit round the pub and just tell the war stories. You know, have parties. You can say, wow, it was pretty rough back then. We thought we might going to lose it, but look, we pulled through.